So let's start with the topic that is time and work. This is one of the most important topic of the arithmetic area. And it's a very simple topic. If you try to understand the concept carefully, then the questions can be solved very easily. Fine. Basically, you will find the application of ratios and percentages here. Now, let's try to solve these questions. Let's try to understand the basic concept involved in time and work. Now, if I ask you a very simple question, Akash can write 100 pages in 5 hours. So, what's the work here? It's 100 pages. And what's the time here? It takes 5 hours. Fine. There's a basic information given. Now, my question is, how many can he write in 10 hours? The answer is very simple. If in 5 hours he can write 100 pages, in double time he can write 200 pages. The answer was very simple. The next part is, how long will it take to write 50 pages? 100 pages can be written in 5 hours. So definitely 50 pages लिखने में definitely time भी कितना लगेगा आधा. That is 2.5 hours. Yes or no? The answers are very simple because the data was very simple. But tell me, did you assume anything before giving the answer? Did you assume anything? Yes, you did. See, what was given here? He can write 100 pages in 5 hours. So then I ask you, how many he can write in 10 hours? You said 200. Because you assume that in 1 hour, he'll always write 100 by 5. That is 20. 5 hours में 100 pages, so 1 hour में कितना? 20 pages. So he can write 20 pages per hour. That's why in 10 hours, he can write 20 into 10. So what you are assuming here? You're assuming that the rate of working will remain constant. That means work done per unit time will always be constant. This was the assumption made by you before giving the answer. Same assumption was used here. So remember that there are three assumptions. Here, I said that my work is 100 pages. Sometimes the question will say, Akash can do a certain piece of work in 5 hours. He'll not mention the work here. So remember that work is always taken equal to 1 unit. I'll assume that my work is always 1 unit. What's the second assumption? We have seen it here. Rate of working. Rate of working will be constant. That means work done per unit of time will be constant here. Yes or no? I'll ask you one more question. 10 men can do a work in 20 days. So in how many days 5 men can do the same work? Will it be 10? Most of the students will say 10. No. Remember that more the number of men, less the number of days are required. Less the number of men, more the number of days are required. We have already discussed this concept in the class of variation. Men and days are inversely proportional. If you'll half the number of men, days will become double. So now the answer will become 40 days. Yes or no? 10 men can do the work in 20 days, and 5 men will do the same work in 40 days. Again, did you assume anything here? Yes. You were least bothered that out of these 10 men, which 5 men are absent? They'll be the most efficient people or less efficient people. You said that if 10 men can do the work in 20 days, 5 men will do that work in 40 days. So, what was the assumption made here? That efficiency of each and every man will be constant. This was a third assumption made by. Yes or no? So remember that while solving the question, you'll have to consider these three assumptions. That work is always equal to 1 unit, rate of working will be constant, and the efficiency of each and every man is also what? Constant. Fine. Let's look at one more thing. If I'll say that I can do a certain piece of work in 20 days, as I said, my work will be 1 unit. So in 20 days, a person can finish 1 unit of the work. So tell me how much work will be done by him in 1 day. Obviously, you're going to decrease the days here, so work will also decrease. So in 1 day, you can do 1 by 20th of the work. Yes or no? Now look at these two numbers carefully. Days and work are always reciprocal of each other. Sometimes I'll call it efficiency. One day's work should be taken as efficiency also. So if I can do a work in 20 days and you can do the same work in 30 days, who's more efficient? I'll be more efficient because I need less number of days. So if a person can do the whole work in n days, then his one day's work must be reciprocal of this. Vice versa. If I say that I can do a certain piece of work in 1/7 of a day, then the total number of days will be 7 days. I hope this is clear. Okay. Now, one of the most important points here. Look at this. Efficiency. That means how much, what is your efficiency? I'll always take it equal to what? Work done by time taken. That how much work I've done and how many days I've taken. Let's say I have written 100 pages in 20 days. So what's my efficiency? 5 pages per day. So this is the relationship among three terms. Sometimes I'll ask you, what is the time required? So what's the time required according to this formula? You'll say work done by efficiency. So work done must be equal to what? Efficiency into time, or efficiency is equal to work done by time, or the time taken to finish a certain piece of work is always equal to the work divided by your efficiency. Now let's look at the question. Akash can write certain number of pages. It's not given that how many pages, so I'll assume that my work is 1 unit. He can do that work in 10 days, while Vikas can write the same number of pages in 15 days. Since the work is not given, I'll assume that my work is 1 unit. How long will it take to write the same number of pages together? So obviously, the number of days will decrease now. Akash alone takes 10 days. If Vikas will help him, in that case, the answer should be less than 10. Now, remember that I'll be discussing two methods here. One is called unitary method and the other one is called LCM. जो easy लगे वो apply करना. Let's look at the first method. We call it unitary method. Akash can do a certain piece of work in 10 days. So what is one day's work of Akash? Assume work to be done 1 unit. Fine. So what is one day's work of Akash? I'll say 1 by 10. If he can do the whole work in 10 days, then one day's work of Akash will become 1 by 10. What is one day's work of Vikas? In the similar way, you can write 1 by 15. So if they are working together, the combined one day's work will become 1 by 10 plus 1 by 15. Now 1 by 10 plus 1 by 15 will be their combined efficiency or their combined one day's work, which comes out to be 1 by 6. And you know that the total number of days required is always reciprocal of what? One day's work. If they can do 1/6 of the work in 1 day, then the total number of days required will become how many? 6. So time taken by A and B together will become how much? 6 days. So what's the logic here? You need to add their one day's work. Even if there are three people or more than three people, you need to add their one day's work. You get a fraction here, reverse it to get the total number of days. But remember that this will work provided that their working days are same. If all of them are working for the same number of days, what I'll do, I'll calculate their combined one day's work, then take the reciprocal of that value. This method is called unitary method. That means you should be very good at what? Framing of the equations. What is the next one? We call it LCM method. This method will be applicable in most of the questions. I can say 99% of the questions. The reason is here I'll be changing the work. Work would not be taken equal to 1 unit. It will depend on the given values, like 10 and 15 are given. So let's assume that the total work is what? LCM of 10 and 15. Since second method, your work will always change. You cannot take it equal to 1 unit. So let's assume that the total work is 30 units and Akash can do that work in how many days? 10 days. So you have seen in the previous slide that efficiency is always equal to work done by time taken. So work done by Akash, efficiency of Akash will become how much? 3 units per day. In the similar fashion, the efficiency of Vikas will become 30 by 15. What is 30 by 15? It's 2 units per day. So I can do 3 units per day, you can do 2 units per day और दोनों को साथ में काम करना है. So combined one day's work will become how much? 5 units per day. This is our combined efficiency. And I'm looking for what? The number of days? You know the formula. Time is always equal to work done. What's the work done? 30 by their combined efficiency. Again, you'll get 6 here. So the answer will remain same. But as far as these two methods are concerned, I can say that this is a faster method. You don't have to deal with the fractions here because you've already taken the LCM. You do the same thing here. You take the LCM of 10 and 15 in the third step. Here, we'll directly take the LCM of the given numbers. Let's try to apply this concept in few more questions. Now, can I say if A and B can do a certain piece of work in A and B days respectively if they are working alone and they take n days to finish the same work together? My 1 day's work will become 1 by A, your 1 day's work will become 1 by B. So, a combined 1 day's work is 1 by A plus 1 by B according to these values. And it's also given that they take n days to finish the whole work. So, their 1 day's work in terms of n will be equal to 1 by N. Yes or no? Similarly, if there are three people, the equation will become 1 by n is equal to 1 by a plus 1 by b plus 1 by c. But remember that this will work if the working days of all the people is same. Otherwise, these two equations will not work. Now let's see what happens if the working days of people will change here. A and B can do a certain work in 30 and 60 days respectively. Fine. How long will it take for them to finish the whole work? Now, how do we want to solve this? Using the first method or second? Let's apply both. My 1 day's work, if I may, would be 1 by 30. Your 1 day's work would be 1 by 60. When you take the LCM, you get 60 here, 2 here, 1 here. You get 3 by 60. This much of the work will be finished in 1 day. So the total days will be the reciprocal of that. That is 20 days. Fine. Let's try to solve this question using the second method, in which the total work will become LCM of 30 and 60, which is equal to 60 units. So what's the efficiency of A? This is 60 by 30, that is 2 units per day. Efficiency of B will become 60 by 60, that is 1. So the combined efficiency A plus B will become equal to how much? 3 units per day. And you're looking for what? The time taken to finish this work if they are working together. Obviously, the answer will be less than 30. Let's see it's how much. Work by combined efficiency. 60 by 3 will give you 20 days. So the answer is again same. Let's change it. If there are three people, how do we write it? 1 by 30 plus 1 by 60 plus 1 by 20. What's the LCM now? It's 60. This is 2, 1, and 3. 6 by 60 will give you 1 by 10. So the answer should be reciprocal of this. That is 10. Let's look at this one. Now the working days are not same. Look at this. A and B can do a piece of work in 10 and 15 days. Both of them started working. साथ में काम करना start किया. And after some days, which is given equal to 3, and B left after 3 days. That means for the first 3 days, both of them were working together. How much more time will it take for A to finish the remaining work? I don't know. But I know that both of them have worked for the first 3 days together. Let's say after that, A will work for X more days. So effectively, the number of working days of A will become X plus first 3 days. And for B, the number of working days will become only 3. If you try to solve this question using method number 1, you'll have to frame the equation. That means you'll have to write what? The work done by A plus work done by B. How do we write it? First 3 days. What's the contribution of A? A can do one tenth of the work in one day, and B can do 1 by 15th of the work in one day. Effective number of days of working for A is X plus 3. Total work done is always 1. I know that. Must be equal to work done by A and work done by B. What's the work done by A? His 1 day's work is 1 by 10 and his work for X plus 3 days. So the contribution of A will become how much? 1 by 10, 1 day's work into working days. Plus contribution of B. B can do 1 by 15th of the work in one day and he has worked for only 3 days. So his contribution will become 1 by 15 into 3. And I know that sum of the contributions must be equal to the total work, that is equal to 1. When you solve this equation, you'll get the value of x, that is equal to 5. That means A needs 5 more days to finish the whole work. Yes or no? This can be done orally also. Let's look at the number of working days of B. Effectively, he has worked for only 3 days. And I know that he can do the whole work in 15 days. So what's the contribution of B? He can do 1/15th of the work in one day. So in 3 days, he can do 3/15. That means 1/5. So effectively, the contribution of B will be only 1 by 5. And the contribution of A will be 4 by 5. And if you know that A can do the complete work in 10 days, so in how many days he'll do 4/5 of the work? It would be 4/5 of 10. What's the 4/5 of 10? 8 days. Out of 8 days, he has worked for 3 days with B. That means for the remaining 5 days, he has worked alone. That's what the answer is. Yes or no? Okay. A can complete a work in 10 days and B can complete the same work in 15 days. If B starts the work and A joins him after 5 days, then in how many days will the work be completed? Is it just reverse of the previous question? B is going to work for the first 5 days alone. And after that, for some days, he'll work with A. So let's say work done, time taken by A, or working hours of A, working days of A are only 5. For B, it should be 5 plus X. Because for the first 5 days, B will work alone, and after that, with for X days, he'll work with A. So according to that, the working time for A will become X days. Now let's see what's the contribution of A. A can do 1/10 of the work in one day, and he has worked for X days. B's 1 day's work is 1 by 15, and he has worked for X plus 5 days. This must be equal to total work. So when you take the LCM, you get 30 here. This gives you 3x plus 2x plus 10 is equal to 1. After solving this, you get 5x equal to 20. That means x equal to how much? 4. So then how many days will the work be completed? B has already worked for 5 days and after that he'll work with A for the next 4 days. So the total number of days will be 9. So what's the logic here? Look at this equation. What I was doing. My 1 day's work should be multiplied with my working days. Your 1 day's work should be multiplied with your working days. Similarly, if there is one more person, what I'll do, I'll take 1 day's work of third person multiplied by the working days of third person. Sum of all the contributions must be equal to how much? 1. Now look at this question. How many people are there? 3. A can complete a work in 20 days, B can complete the same work in 30 days, while C can complete the same work in 60 days. They start working together. A leaves after 3 days and B leaves 4 days before the work was originally scheduled to be complete. Scheduled to be complete. What does it mean? If all of them will work together, they would have finished the work in how many days? Let's try to solve this question using second method. I'll take LCM of 20, 30, and 60, which is equal to 60 units. So what's the efficiency of A? 60 by 20, that is 3. What's the efficiency of B? That is 2 units. What's the efficiency of C? That is 1 unit. So if they work together, they can do 6 units per day. And what's the work? It's 60. So they would have taken how many days to finish the whole work? 60 by 6, provided that they'll work for all the days. Nobody will leave. So what was the scheduled completion? It was 10 days. Yes or no? What's given here? They start working together. A leaves after first 3 days. So can I say for the first 3 days, A, B, and C, all of them were working, and B leaves 4 days before the work was originally scheduled. What was the originally scheduled days? 10. He left 4 days before that. That means B has worked for 6 days. Out of those 6 days, he has already worked here for 3 days. That means for the next 3 days, he'll be working with whom? He'll work with C here. Now, to the last part of the work, C has to work alone. Now let's look at the contribution. I know that A, B, and C together can do 6 units per day, and they work for 3 days. That means they must have contributed 18 units here. For the next 3 days, B and C will be working. Together, they can do 3 units. So 3 into 3 will give you 9. 18 plus 9 gives you 27 units. Yes or no? So what was the total work? It was 60. And they've already finished 27 units out of that. How much work is still left? This is 60 minus 27. That is equal to 33. So C needs to finish these 33 units on his own. So time is always equal to work by efficiency. What's the efficiency of C? It's only one. So C needs 33 more days to finish the whole work. So effectively, C has worked for how many days? I said 3 here, and 33 more days. I hope this is clear to everyone.